Hey listeners, Dan Harris here, host of the 10% Happier podcast. Imagine all your audio entertainment available in just one place. That's what the Audible app is all about. With Audible, you can always find the best of what you love or discover something new. Audible has an incredible selection of wellness titles and originals like The Light Podcast by Michelle Obama, Work It Out by Mel Robbins, and Confidence Gap by Russ Harris. Membership includes access to Audible Originals, podcasts, and tons of audiobooks that you can download or stream as much as you want. And as an Audible member, you can choose one title per month from an ever-growing catalog of titles to keep. The Audible app makes it easy to listen anytime, anywhere, whether you're traveling, working out, doing chores, wherever your day takes you. New members can try Audible now free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/Harris or text Harris to 500-500.
The weather is cooling down a bit. The leaves are starting to fall. Yes, it's that time of year again, football season. And we all know the best part of any game day traditions are the ones that involve food. There's nothing like having everyone in your game day crew coming together to bring their best bites and argue over whose family makes the best chili. And while there's no need to mess with the perfection of game day classics, like a freshly grilled Oscar Mayer hot dog topped with Heinz ketchup and mustard, it's always fun to step out of your comfort zone and get creative with your recipes. Because there's nothing more fun than adding to your list of game day traditions, like making a creamy and delectable queso dip with Velveeta cheese that can be eaten with so much more than just chips. Now is the chance for people across the nation to find out whose game day eats reign supreme. It's your turn to show off your tasty game day food traditions. Go to www.gamedayfoodtraditions.com to share a photo of your game day food tradition to enter to win $10,000. Once again, that's www.gamedayfoodtraditions.com to enter to win $10,000.
This is Full Change with Tom Laidlaw.
I have to shout out my friend who's a good listener to the show, Ian O'Connell. He's got a pizza place in Rural Jersey.
Ian O'Connell.
Ian O'Connell. He is a good hockey player too, but I saw you were making pizza the other day, and it looked delicious. Well, how did you become a good cook?
So way back when I first got divorced, like 26, 27 years ago, my sons were...
Which divorce?
The first one.
Gotcha.
So my sons were 4 and 6 years old, and they would go over. I'd have them every the weekend, and when during the week, I didn't know how to cook at all. Like one day we'd have hamburger helper, there'd be tuna noodle, then we'd go to Boston Market. Shout out to Boston Market, there you go, their sponsor. And in fact, we had the tradition in my family it was turkey dinner for Christmas and for Thanksgiving. So we would get the jarred gravy and the stovetop stuffing. So we would get by. And I'd get a frozen turkey.
I don't think I've heard this one.
Really?
I don't think so.
Wow. And I would put the frozen turkey right into the oven.
You're not going to live turkey.
But I would put the frozen turkey right in the oven.
Oh.
So, but the turkey would come out fine. But then I would reach inside and the giblets are inside. And I didn't know what the giblets were. And I'm like, why are we getting all this garbage in our turkey? I thought it was like somebody's putting garbage in our turkey. So we got to be friends with a couple that I played men's hockey with. Pete and Joan Newts. We lost Pete recently, a great guy.
Sorry.
And he came over again, my sons were there. Joan was in the kitchen with me, and I got the turkey. It must have been like the third or fourth time we made the turkey. So again, now we're getting this down pretty good. And so I take the turkey out of the oven, I reach inside, and the garbage is in there again. I said, why are we getting the turkey with the garbage in the oven? And she's looking at me like, are you joking or are you serious? I go, no, look at this garbage.
So
she told me she's dying laughing. She told that story.
So, John, she took you to school a little bit on how to cook the turkey. Yeah. So you did that out of necessity when you were...
I didn't want to be out all the time with the boys. I want to be like, we're home, we're cooking our dinner. And I should try to be good with my sons, because we'd sit around and watch the Emerald and all the cooking shows. Now both my sons are really good cooks as well. And then, so I got better and better over time. And now I've gotten more healthy. During the pandemic, it was fantastic for me. I started doing this cooking show on Sunday.
Yep.
So we started off, I was working out at home. I had the propane tanks out in my barbecue. So I was pretending that I was working out with the propane tanks. And people think it was funny. So I printed out pictures of Ron Greshner and Wilson, the soccer ball from...
Sure, from Castaway.
So I taped the picture of Ron Greshner onto the propane tank, and the other one, then Wilson was on the other propane tank. So now we're pretending Ron's working out with me. I've got the balance board out there. I'm doing stupid things like I had Ron falling off the balance board on his tank, and then Wilson could do it. So and every Sunday it would go on. So now I would add new people to it. I had Ron Duguay, a picture of him, Cheryl Teagues, and all the girls he dated, Christy Brinkley. Then I had Barry back up something. Is that it's always something new. Donald Trump got up there with the mask on because he got COVID during the.
So this came out of boredom during COVID.
Yes, absolutely. So it became this thing, and then it rained one day. So I took all the pictures and I taped them up on my cabinets in my kitchen, and I cooked a meal. And it was just again being told smart. I had Mike Milbury in the garbage can, that kind of stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, it was. So it got to be pretty good. And then as time went on, people would start critiquing the meal I'd make. I'd do a video of what the meal was, the recipe, and everything. And then I take pictures.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Oh yeah, totally. So it became this pressure that I had to plate it properly. So I had to get the rag out. Clean.
Oh wow. Yeah. Because I see your show now. Your by show, it's perfect for you because it's short attention span cooking. It's about 45 seconds. On a cooking show. Yeah. But you cook up. You do, and most of the food you eat is raw and natural, which is awesome.
And that's what I try to do. I'll take recipes and then clean. I try to make them more clean, like not use as much sugar and salts. I use capers and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's actually out of necessity. It's become pretty good.
It looks very good. And back to my friend Ian, so he makes a great margarita pizza, but there's sugar in that. Yours is obviously the pizza you made the other day. If people can find that on Instagram, looked great. What was it?
Yeah, so I got actually Costco had this new pizza flour. I'd always used to use bread flour when I made. So I put a little bit of sugar, a little bit of honey in there instead of sugar. Okay. I don't think you really even have to do that, but that's the kind of stuff I'll do. I use honey. There's also that monk fruit sweetener that you can use. And then when I made the sauce, so again, there's no sugar or salts. So to sweeten up the tomatoes, peppers, garlic, you just put them in the air fryer for a while, they get sweeter. There you go. And then I put capers in instead of salt. So it's all, capers are technically a fruit from what my research says. And all the rest is all vegetables. So it's not, the pizza's not perfect. I use.
No, it looked great. It looked delicious. You're always going with these healthy, delicious looking meals. We're now a cooking show. Nate Brown in Minnesota, who commented on that earlier.
Oh,
there
cool.
You go. But it's great that you actually, it plays into your whole health routine.
Well, I've got a little concern here.
Oh, go.
You're being so nice to me. Is there something wrong, like something coming up or something?
We have a long way to go today, so no. Listen, you're it's very. I don't know how to cook. I make guacamole. That's it. Yeah, Christine does all the cooking basically. But I can make a smoothie.
Yeah, especially if your wife's cooking home, she enjoys cooking, then you don't have to do it.
I don't know that she does, but she just kind of, I don't know, she just does it. But how do you deal with it? Because you sometimes have a very short attention span. I'm not saying anything out of school here. How do you deal with all the prep and the cleaning and the cooking?
Well, so I have the saying, clean as you cook. So the idea is if you're cleaning as you're cooking, then at the end when it's all done, it's all done. Right. Because there's a lot of time when you're cooking where you've got some dead time, you're waiting for something to cook. So when I clean up, the mess should be.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll put things away that I need again. So I've got to go back and get it. Right. I don't do it on the Sunday cooking show, so you're on the day. But being in the cooking show or being in the kitchen cooking with a glass of wine or something, I get the country music going. It's
sounds like a party.
It's all by myself.
You should call it the cooking minute, though. Like 1 minute cooking with Tom.
Right. Yes.
It's very, very short.
Yeah.
But people who follow you on social media, I'm sure most of our listeners do, will enjoy that. Ones who don't should check it out because Tom whips up some batches.
And it's turned out to be pretty, it's a challenge, but you're right. I have to prep for it. I have to put it aside like a couple of hours because, the total cooking time, prep and everything. But it is, I get all fired up to it. I've got a great store. We're promoting everybody else's store.
What, Costco? Tom's the mayor of Costco in Greenwich, Connecticut, by the way.
Actually, I talk about Norris the Chicken Man. He's this fantastic person.
Shout out Norris.
Yeah. Norris the Chicken Man at Costco. He's a fantastic guy. There's a woman who works with him there. There's a woman there, really sweetheart person. She's a huge Survivor fan. So we were talking yesterday. I showed her a picture where I was crawling through the sand.
Wait, you were on Survivor?
Yeah, I don't like to talk about it too much. Like personal stuff.
Wow. It's great accomplishment that you got to get on there, and I kind of always tease you on it, but it was a really solid guest spot you did for 5 episodes. It was awesome.
Well, but that's the kind of guy I am, right? I don't want to take all the time. These other people really hadn't had the time of shine. Like I've been in the star of the national humble, right? Yeah.
Humble.
So like back then when I first turned pro, we had no access. We couldn't get on videos. You didn't listen. So when you went to the pro locker room the first time, that's the first time you're in a pro locker room. There's always these thoughts going through your head. Like, what's it like in there? Like, are these guys wearing like gold underwear or something? Seriously, those type of shit. So the first turn pro, and I know it was the weirdest thing, but one of the things you look forward to is not having to wear a helmet in practice. Now, I don't know why that became such a big deal. But
especially with that dome.
5 head. So the forehead.
People, it's a new joke. Congratulations. No, ever heard that one before.
So first practice, we're out there 10 minutes, we're doing breakouts. So the forward would have to shoot the puck in the corner, as you know, and then we go back and get a breakout. So Lance Nethery, who was a really intelligent guy, came up and played with the Rangers a little bit, but he went to shoot it in, drilled it right up my forehead.
No,
yeah,
really?
10 minutes in practice.
How many zips?
I get a few. I was like 7 or 8. It's just right down the center of the forehead there too. First practice out there for 10 minutes.
Is that the last time you wore?
No. Kidding me? Where's the stick? We had to.
I had, this is a great story. So I run this hockey league in the city, as you know, New York City Roller Hockey League, shout it out. But there was this kid, this great family from the city, big Ranger fan, so Drake DeBono. So he was like 18, this kid. First game, he was very excited. He just wanted to play in this league, right? His family's there, his mom, his dad, his cousins, his grandmother. He's out in warm-ups, and one kid, this kid Jonathan, wings one off the crossbar, right? Split him open. The whole family, the grandma's upset. They're all running to the hospital. It was like, and I said, if you had listened, if you had, a time machine, went to the future and heard this very episode of Full Change with Tom Laidlaw, you would know to put your helmet on during warm-ups.
My whole career in the NHL, they were wearing helmet warm-ups.
Why?
That's cool. You know what? We, as you have learned, we as professional athletes are like, and I have to say this clearly because I was, and I'm not trying to criticize anybody else, but we're idiots.
Yes.
We do a lot of stuff.
You guys are incredible at one specific skill set that takes you to the top of the universe in what you do as hockey players, which is amazing. That's an accomplishment. But yeah, you're all idiots. Oh, yeah. And I think our fans who have listened to these 50 episodes or so are starting to realize that these are regular dudes who are flawed.
Well, and I think what makes it worse is, and we've discussed this, where we, from a very young age, when you're a good athlete, you're being treated totally different, especially in a country like Canada. So now you're allowed to get away with things differently. Even our parents, my parents are fantastic to me, but there's a lot of stuff I got away with. We'd have games, junior games at night, and then I'd sleep. My parents let me sleep, and I could have gotten and went to school. So, we have that. We're treated a certain way. We're told how great we are all through life. And then maybe you retire at 32, 33, 35 years old. And now all of a sudden you've got to start, you wake up and one day, now you're more like a real person. Right. And we didn't know that we weren't leading a normal life. We thought the life we were leading that's the way.
Really? You had no inkling that this is not normal?
I don't think I fully understood until I look back later on in life, how wrapped up, how egotistical really we had to be for our careers.
Well, everyone's telling you you're great from 14 to 35.
Yeah. And you're so wrapped up, and especially then, well, it's the same way now, but the team is everything to you. I mean, that's how you're raised, team. So it's going out for lunch after practice. You could have a wife and kids at home.
That's that hockey ethic that is born out of that Canadian farm boy ethic.
Yeah.
Like work hard, save work for the farm, for the collective. It's almost communist in a way, but it makes sense. Team is everything.
And I'm in one way very proud of it, but that's how big part of my career was like that. Like, it's
sure.
People would come to the team and say, Tommy, everybody says I'm supposed to go with you to go find out where to go for a beer after practice.
So you're the Pied Piper of beer too.
We had Bruce McNall on the show recently. He was joking because he would give me a cash like $2,000 on the road. Take the guys
probably clearly unaccounted for in the books.
Yeah, no receipt.
Well, obviously, face it, people who heard that episode know that is probably what happened.
Yeah, and he was, that's part of what I look back at it now. I don't regret it really because, but it even helped me in the rest of my life. Like even in the agent business.
22 years.
I built a reputation where that's part of it because I had no clients, no experience before going out there trying to get clients. So what really got me clients was my reputation of who I was. That not the most. And again, the same way as I wasn't the smartest guy in the room when I was an agent. I wasn't.
Still not.
I don't ever quit.
No, and that people, especially everybody loves a team guy because you don't rock any boats. You show up, you do your job, you do your work. And I guess your clients found that too, until they had to fire you, like Brian Boucher famously did.
It's just things weren't going well for him and want to make a change.
Yeah.
Damon Lightcow had a friend of his want to get the agent business. I'm sorry, I'm trying to. This buddy of mine, Brian Berard, things that just he'd go through.
Yeah, he had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
and you guys are good friends now, as you said.
Totally. I finally broke the ice there a couple of years ago. Said something smart ass about we can fire me because we were good friends and we remain good friends.
Well, episode 21 of Full Change. He's a great episode with us.
He's a funny man, I'll tell you. He does those invitations.
Very much so. We'll have to have him on again for more of those.
Yeah.
But so that attitude, that work ethic, that dependability that carried through for you still does today. You're still. Tom will still text me and he's like, "I'll get the to-do list." I mean, it's cut and pasted, but it's still the same to-do list. Like, hey, let's get on this. Let's do this. Let's go.
It is funny, right? When if I'm busy running around, I say, "Okay, Tom's got it," and then I get like July and August now are quiet times. I've learned get stuff done, and then we're at both of us the same way. We're so proud of this Full Change podcast.
Oh yeah.
Probably even in a different way that I don't know about you, but a different way that I'd anticipate. Like some of the shows we've had with Richie Pilon and Larger.
No, it's been a great journey, and it is hot in July. And speaking of hot, this next episode coming up with Tim Hunter is a hot one.
Yes, that's good. So Tim and I played against each other a lot, and I don't think we'd ever spoken other than a few F-bombs. So
what a tough guy, man.
And what really like an intelligent tough guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like he really knew. He understood. I'm a fourth line guy. Like, and even helping other kids coming up saying, listen, you're a fourth line guy right now. This is how we do it.
Got a job to do. This is how we do it. So yeah, people enjoy this one. This is great. Tim Hunter.
Talk knows this, but his puts mine to shame.
He's got a legendary look. He looks, like I said, I think I said in the episode, he looks like a central casting hockey player. Yeah, 60s. Yeah, that's the guy you would see, So enjoy this episode. All right, Tom, today, if you were casting a rugged, rough hockey player for a movie in 1968, this is the guy you would want.
Yes, he is. He's got the looks and everything. He's got the most iconic nose in the history of the National Hockey League. Timmy Hunter.
Yes, sir.
How you doing there, brother? Good to see you.
Yeah, good. Thanks
I don't think we ever really got to talk to each other much except on the ice there where I was running away from you all the time. So,
yeah, no, I don't think we've ever met, Tom.
Yeah.
Just brushing by each other on the ice. You're probably on the ice much more than I was, I'll tell you.
I mean, I'll never forget we had one, bro. Remember when Shane Shirley came up with you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, he was a madman. We had a brawl going on, and I had Colin Patterson, and I had him down on the ice, and him and I weren't fighting. I was just holding him. So Shane Shirley comes from behind and starts grabbing me. He says, "You're mine, you're mine." And I kept, Colin Patterson's dying, laughing down below. I'm holding on to Colin. I'm saying, "No, I've got my man. I've got my man." Patterson was dying laughing. It was just so funny.
I got a great story about Shane Churla. We're playing, he just come up and he's running around a little bit. We're playing Vancouver and Tiger Williams is in Vancouver. And Tiger Williams says to me, he says, "Hey, Hunt, you tell that kid to settle down." I said, Tiger, you better tell him. I said, "You're going to have your hands full." "Oh, I'll kick the shit out of that kid." So he fights Shane Churla. Churla just beats the shit out of him. Oh. And I skated by the penalty box and I said, "Tiger, I tried to tell you, pal."
That was the same with Kenny Baumgartner when he came up. He was he knew what he was doing. Like, he was trying to be as crazy as possible. He would go into the locker room. So he's a rookie in the National Hockey League, and he'd start running the radio or the stereo in the room. And he'd turn it to all like this heavy metal music. And we all had to leave the room because we couldn't stand the music, but we weren't going to stand anything to him because he was a nutcase.
Psycho, yeah. Hungry duty.
Yeah, definitely. So where'd you grow up? Where's home?
So I'm born and raised in Calgary. And I grew up in Calgary, played all my minor hockey here, and then left as a 16-year-old to go to Fort St. John, BC, home of Reg Kerr, and played junior B there. And then I went on to Kamloops and played Tier 2 in the BCHL, then 2 years in Seattle. And so it was fun growing up in Calgary in those days. They had the great Calgary Centennial teams and had Mike Rogers, Dan Fair, Brian Carlin, some really good teams. We had the 75 Memorial Cup here in Calgary, so I was just a punk going down and watch that.
Right. So just so everybody knows, this is Tim Hunter, longtime Calgary Flame, a Vancouver Canuck, San Jose Shark, right? Tampa Bay Lightning for one day?
One day in Quebec Nordique. Wow. And then add in 15 years of coaching in the NHL.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
Well, I coached more games in the NHL than I played. I coached over 1,000 games in the NHL as assistant coach.
Wow. Very cool. So you got drafted by the Atlanta Flames, right?
Yeah. That first year they had the underage in 1979. It was what a draft. It was a little bit, as a player, you look back and you almost got shafted because if I waited a year and got drafted as a 19-year-old, I would have been a first-round pick.
Oh, okay.
As an 18-year-old, I was a third-round pick. And, obviously only 21 teams then. So 54th overall in the third round. Went to Atlanta as training camp as a 18-year-old turning 19, signed a contract. And then, played my last year junior in Seattle. And then I had a knee injury. So I went down to Atlanta and I was at David Poyle's house just recovering from my knee injury. And he says, "I'm going to pick you up and come over to my house and have breakfast. And I want to share something with you." So I get to his house and he says, "I got some great news for you." He said, "We're announcing today we're moving the team from Atlanta to Calgary."
Wow.
That was pretty cool because I was like, you get drafted, you're just thrilled to be drafted. And then I'm going, Atlanta, man, that could be any further from Calgary.
Yeah.
For my parents and then to have the team move to Calgary, that was just a childhood dream, obviously, to play in the NHL, let alone play in my hometown for 11 years.
Right. And when you first got there, the Calgary, the corral is what the rink you played in, correct?
Yeah, and it was perfect for, the first couple of years. Calgary had a real big team, all those guys, Ken Houston, Eric Vale, Willie Plett, Phil Russell, big bruising team, Brad Marsh, and
the boards are about 10 feet high.
The board and the benches were like archaic because they had two levels, so you had a front and a back. And if you weren't playing, you're in the back, and like usually when you're not playing, you're trying to get the coach's eye, and it's pretty hard when he's got his back to you the whole time.
I'm over here, coach.
Yeah, I used to get like Lanny and some of the older guys, Risebrow, they'd say, "Hey, Badger, Hunts is in the back there. You may want to put him out."
That's funny. How many years did you play in that building?
I think 2 years in that building, and then I played just 2, but they were in there almost 3 years before they got the Saddle Dome built. And then you look now, and the Saddle Dome is
They're trying to get a new one, right?
Yeah, they're close. They had an announcement during the past month or so that the Alberta government, the city government, and the team are going to partner and build a $1.2 billion entertainment district right near the Saddle Dome, actually. So
wow, that's good.
It's
I know they've tried.
Calgary.
Yeah, they tried for a long time, right? Get that done.
Well, yeah, and it's politics and different things that get in the way, and we had a change of mayorship, and then also the Alberta government changed, and the new gal that's in right before the election, she made this commitment that if she gets reelected, she's going to commit to $400-500 million to the project, and then she got elected. So that was a sigh of relief for all the hockey fans, right? So
yeah, definitely. Well, especially I guess Edmonton gets their big building too, right? They've got to do.
Exactly, and I do some work for the Flames during the season, some corporate stuff, and you talk to the CEO John Bean, and he's like, we talked to Edmonton, and they're like, hey, you guys got to get a building because we're losing out on a lot of concerts because they won't come to Alberta just to play in Edmonton. They because they go to the West Coast, they go to Seattle, they go to Vancouver, and they're like, Edmonton, we're not going to Winnipeg, so if Calgary had a bigger building, a nicer building, they'd get more of those high-end concerts. And we just had Luke Combs go to Vancouver and then to Edmonton. He never came here, so just things like that. So
that's cool.
And then in the hockey world, how it is. Today's player, they like the new environments of a friendly dressing room, a big lounge, a kitchen, and the Flames locker room doesn't have any of that. You ride the elevator up to the our lounge where our alumni lounge is, and you're riding with the guy carrying the nachos and the bottles of vodka.
Yeah. So you were, and I mean this very seriously, you were a very good hockey player, but you're probably known more for the fisticuffs, correct?
Yeah. Well, in the early going, I struggled skating and everything, and thank God the Flames had so much patience in me to allow me to develop. And that was my goal, to not just be a fighter, to be able to take regular minutes and play that fourth line role and take pride in. You get lots of guys that come down and they're demoted to the fourth line, and they're pissing and moaning. They're like, I'm on the fourth line with Tim Hunter, and I just say to them, listen, the less time you spend here, the better, and the only time you're going to spend less time is by performing. So get on the project, because I'm not here to listen to your whine and moaning. We got to get things done in the fourth line. We got a job to do. When we go out, we got to get the job done. Get scoring chances. Don't get scored against. So you want to get back where you belong? Don't piss and moan. And it worked.
That's incredible that you would say that, because that's what a coach wants, right? He wants that fourth line guy to be happy to be there, but also pushing to get up to a higher level, right?
Yeah, and I tell a lot of, I've coached a lot of young kids right from in the NHL. You get all these prospects coming in and they're 18, 19, and they start out lower and they all expect to be higher because they're all great players in their junior teams. And the first thing I tell them is you have to find a way to help the team win. You can't think you're going to score goals like you did in junior. That'll come. But every shift you take, you got to try to help the team win. And how's that going to be? That's by playing smart defensively, managing the puck properly, and playing in the system the coach wants and using your physical attributes. Here's a kid that's a great example is Brett Howden. So Brett Howden plays in Vegas. He gets drafted by Tampa, so. Then he gets traded to New York, plays a little bit in New York, and not really, he's doing okay, but not really figured it out. So Kelly McCrimmon, who coached against him in junior, he takes him to Vegas and says, listen, Brett, all you got to do is help us win faceoffs, manage the puck, be physical. And when you get your scoring chances, bear down. You got skill, you got talent, it'll happen. And I had that very conversation with him when he got traded to Vegas. I said, I was at the Moose Jaw Warrior Golf Tournament. I said, Howdy, I said, just go there and do all the things that are simple that not a lot of guys are willing to do. Yeah. Block shots, play physical, have a good stick, and know how to play. He knows how to play in his own end. I was one of my biggest attributes as a coach is how to coach defense and teach defense, defensive hockey. So, that's it. And starts off in the fourth line, and look where he's playing now. And then you talk about fourth lines. You look at Vegas's fourth line, probably one of the best fourth lines in hockey. You need depth. You need everyone can go out and contribute and play against the other team's top line. If you're afraid to put your third and fourth line out against the other team's top line, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Play two lines. Yeah. So when you're a kid growing up, I mean, at what point do you start getting the fighting going?
When I played in Fort St. John, I'm 16 playing in a junior B league, and it's got lots of 20-year-old men, they got jobs, some of the kids, and it's up in northern BC, northern Alberta, and it's tough. There's some tough dudes, and I'd never really fought before. My brother Tom is 5 years older than me, and he played in the same situation when he played in Calgary. He played in Vulcan for the Calgary Centennials. He played in the senior men's league. Ex-NHL guys playing in High River and Okotoks in these small towns, and you get pushed around and you got to stick up for yourself. And I was a big kid. I was 6'2" at 15 years old. So I played a game one time in Grand Prairie, and I fought a guy, and I was awful. And my brother happened to be there, and he goes, "What are you doing?" So he gives me a couple pointers in the parking lot after the game. He goes, "Listen, you got to stay athletic. You got to stay loose. You don't just grab on and, just ride it out, and then, get your shots in." So gradually I started to learn, and then 17-year-old, I played in Kamloops, got better and better, and started training really hard and taking boxing lessons. And the one summer I boxed with Willie DeWitt in Calgary, Canadian heavyweight champ.
Oh, yeah.
And really learned how to basically throw punches with both hands. Right.
When I remember you, you were a smart fighter too. Like, it's interesting, like your brother had to show you that stuff, because I thought what you became as a fighter too, right?
Yeah. And, my goal was not to get the shit kicked out of me and not be laying on the ice as some guy skating away. And you're never going to find a video where that happens. I mean, I got my share of, beatings, but not to where I was cut up, bloody, laying on the ice and searching for the fish under there. So, and so how not to lose a fight? Number one, all these guys, I coached some guys, I'm going, son, you're going to get knocked out the way you fight. And no, and then next thing, he gets knocked out. I'm going, okay, now you got to listen, and I never really taught many guys how to fight. I never even talked about it to my junior kids. If they wanted to do it, you have at it. You're going to learn, and you're going to learn the hard way. And that's the way I learned. You figure it out. No one ever really, other than my brother, the one time telling me, I just figured it out. I watched lots of video, and I was prepared. Yeah. And when I played, I had unbelievable grip strength. Hold on for dear life and wait the guy out and get your shots in by being able to throw a left or a right. And, I may not have beaten up many guys where they're lying in the ice in a pool of blood and knocked out, but I won more than I lost.
Oh, yes, you did.
Tim, we speak to a lot of heavyweights on the show, and a lot of those guys hate fighting. What was your take on it?
Yeah, I get asked that question quite a bit. I never hated fighting at all. I knew it was part of the deal, and I thought, if I can play in the NHL and play my way and slowly get better and really become a player and still be able to fight, there were some guys that were great at, like Rick Talk and Wendell Carr. They were really good players, and they're very tough. Brandon Shanahan, that wasn't the player those guys were. But, I had Gino Logic in Vancouver, and he became a really good player, but he was really tough. And, even guys like Dave Semenko. So, but personally, I was never afraid of anyone, or I was never unprepared. I knew, some guys might have caught you off by surprise a little bit, but if you protect yourself, and, I used to put a little Vaseline on the eyebrows, a little on the cheek, a little on the big bumper here.
The big bumper.
Guys that come in the dressing room, especially in the bathroom there, before the game, guys are wetting their hair down. I'm putting Vaseline, and they go, "Hunts, what's that for?" I go, "It's called instant courage. Maybe you should put some on." I shouldn't, when you get in a fight, it's not going to hurt you because the punches are going to glance off. What do you think boxers do it for?
Yeah.
So,
well, you and your old teammate Nicky Fatillo did that too, right?
Well, that's a great. Nick is one of my favorite stories.
Yep.
And so, I first time in Madison Square Gardens, I was, I don't know, 23 or something, in 82, 3 or somewhere in that range. I don't remember exactly when, but so I fought Don Maloney in the third period, and I beat Don up pretty good.
Sure. Yep.
And I'm like, why does this guy want to fight me? And I don't know what I did. So I'm going, okay, this Fatillo guy's coming over and he's going to kill me. I'm just like, I think Herb Brooks was coaching the Rangers at the time. We had Bob Johnson. Yeah. So I'm kind of going, where's this guy? He's I'm coming. I get a couple of shifts. Then I don't play for a long time. I think we scored late and up by 2 or 3 and under 2 minutes left. And Bob Johnson throws me out for the faceoff. And I'm going, oh, Jesus, he's coming over the boards. I'm going to die. I'm not going to get out of Madison Square Gardens alive. My first time here. And like the whole day, actually the whole game was kind of it was almost like all the guys told me, like, you're playing MSG. I said, oh, it's an amazing place. But the fans are crazy. Hunts, during warm-up, when you skate around, don't look at anybody because they'll spit on you or beer on you and all this stuff. And I'm like, so I'm skating around. So I'm going to get off story, but I'm going to skate around and warm up. And this guy's leaning over the boards down our end there, and he's, Timmy. I'm like, I don't know anyone here. But the guys told me not to look. So I go by this one time. I slow down. I look up, and he goes, we're going to fucking kill you tonight. Holy jumping. And I was waiting for the beer, and I quickly skedaddled. And oh boy, this is a gong show. So anyways, back to Nick. He comes over. We face off. And Nick is this massive, imposing guy, no helmet. And I'm right wing. He's left wing, and he faces off. We face off together. And before the puck's dropped, he spears me right inside my thigh, nice and high upwards, nice and tender, right away. I'm thinking, okay, just go down. You're hurt. He speared you, probably a penalty. You get out of here alive. No, so I'm young and dumb. I get up, and Nick gives me this one, come to hither, drops the gloves, and I'm thinking, I got to get this over with. So I'm dumb, and we're moving around, and I go in to get a hold of him, and he just grabs me, and he's pulling me, and he's punching at the same time, and I just duck my head. Like when you're a fighter, you don't keep it big, you keep it tilted, so you're going to hit you up here. He hit me on top of the helmet. I don't think Bearcat has found it yet. The helmet just blew off my head, and there wasn't much of a fight. And I went, oh, thank God, I'm going to get out of here. So this will tie into another story that I get asked a lot. Who's the toughest guy I ever fought?
I was going to ask you. Yep.
So at the time, I didn't really realize that Nick was, but I thought, oh boy, that was a punch, and I'm sure glad it didn't hit me in the face.
Yeah. So
back to when he joined us 3 years or 4 years later, 86 or somewhere. We're in Vancouver and I'm playing on a line with him and Joel Otto. And they've got a big guy there, Craig Cox, very tough guy.
Yeah. I remember.
Cox is this California surfer dude, and we go down the corner and he's looking at me, he goes, hey, Hunts, you want to go? I'm like, sure, dude. So we dropped the gloves and standing there. And this guy comes from my shoulder here and pulls me. He goes, Hunts, I'll take yours. So Nick's come up and he hasn't fought yet for the Flames. And, we brought him in to help play against Edmonton. Got all those tough guys up there, McSorley, Jackson, Semenko, McClellan, all these guys. So Nick wants to make sure he makes a statement. So he's going to fight Cox. So I step aside. So I'm standing and I'm looking at Coxie and Nick. And Nick is like this. You go, bam. He hit Cox in the left orbital bone and crushed his orbital bone. The whole side of his face caved in. And I was standing there, I'm going, that's the toughest guy I ever fought, because that could have been my face when he hit me in Madison Square Gardens if I didn't duck. And because Nick, he knew how to disguise a punch. Like Coxie had no idea. He just hit him, and Coxie kind of collapsed. He's like, I thought he was going to go down. He didn't go down. And he comes back. He goes, whoa, dude.
He said that?
Yeah. Like, come on. And they fought, and it was a good fight. And, but that's like, at that moment I went, holy mackerel, Nick's the to you. Can any punch? And I'm sure glad he didn't hit me in the face.
That's why.
So he was great. I love Nick. I love playing with him. He was
a fun teammate too, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody wants to see good fights, you should go watch old tapes of a Calgary Edmonton game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, you guys. Like, we had rivalries against the Flyers, rivalries against the Islanders, and they would get nasty a little bit sometimes. But you guys, I mean, it was all a brawl.
The Battle of Alberta. Yes, it was nasty. We hated each other. And, they kind of, it was one of those things that all day long game day, you went to the rink, you stopped to get gas, you got a coffee or somewhere. Everyone you saw, it was like, oh, you guys got to beat Edmonton. There's going to be a bloodbath and all this all day long. And you're going, holy mackerel.
Yeah.
You get to the games and everyone said, oh, it must have been fun. And you talk like, we do lots of stuff for the Oilers alumni guys, Glenn Anderson, Mark Messier, all these guys, and see them all the time. And Craig Simpson, and they're like, it wasn't fun at all.
No.
So, we share stories. Yeah, the bus ride up to Edmonton was complete silence, because in those days we just bus up and come back after the game. And it was just complete silence. And they said the same thing. We're like, we know there's going to be something going on, and somebody's going to get into it, and then everyone's going to be into it, and there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
And you had to be ready to be played physical against and play physical, right? And so we laugh when we share the stories, like Dave Semenko and I.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks it was just all these. I only fought him 4 times.
Oh.
Dave fought maybe 60 times in the NHL. And I fought over 200, including playoffs. Everyone wanted to fight me. Nobody wanted to fight Dave Semenko. He was so big.
Tom didn't want to fight you.
Oh, God. So I had one game, when I was at the Rangers one game, it was like random Tuesday night, so there's no rivalry between us and Edmonton. And I hit Gretz in the corner. And, back then the whole building goes dead quiet once the whistle blows. So Sater stands up at the bench. He says, Laidlaw, you're going home in a body bag. And then he taps Semenko on the shoulder. And I'm thinking, there's nowhere to go, right? You can't run away. But I'm not. The guy, like, he's coming over. It's like he's got, stuff like hair all over the place, twigs sticking out of his hair, like he's been out of the woods. And you could tell he kind of had this disgusted look in his face, like, Tommy, am I going to have to fight you? So he comes over, and he's clearly not. He's not afraid of me at all. He comes over. He says, Tommy, are you going to hit Wayne anymore tonight? He's kind of like I'm fed up with you. I said, yeah. I got him ready to grill too. Got him real close. I said, Dave, if you don't want me to fight Wayne or hit Wayne anymore tonight, I won't do it. But the guys all thought I was going back before. They're all coming over, patting me on the pads. I said, I showed him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You did not want to fight him. I mean, he just was like, scary.
He was very, very dirty. So, the code, there was no code. Dave Semenko had to get the job done. He'd come up, he'd go, let's go. And if you didn't comply, he would sucker you. So I had 4 fights against him. The first time I fought him in the corral, he sucker punched me over top with the linesman. Poplinski jumps in, fights him. I'm over here. Poplinski's fighting him. He kicks Jim Poplinski.
Yes.
The second time I fought him, he kicked me. Third time I fought him, he kneed me.
I remember seeing that video. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Brian Lewis is standing there. I'm going, Brian, he kneed me. Timmy, he says, it's a fight. He says, well, we don't worry about rules and fights. And I'm just like, oh.
Well, especially when it's two guys like you, right? Like they think, well, you guys are fighters, so you're gonna.
Yeah, and so you knew that you better be prepared. And Dave's gone, and I told a story at one of their functions there about him, and I said, yeah, he give you no choice. He just slapped you upside the head, and you better be ready to go. Otherwise, you're getting drilled in the head or something, because he gave you no choice, which is in a lot of ways the ultimate policeman. I don't know if I had that in me to be that dirty, to kick guys and knee guys. Like I had Marty McSorley, fought him one time in Calgary. We were beating him in Calgary, and it's 4-1 or 4-2 at 30, 40 seconds left of the game. I'm out there. He jumps me. I'm like, I'm not going to fight him with that time left. I go on the bus up, beat it. And he jumps me. He reaches around. He puts his finger in my eye. Ooh. And so I'm like, terrified. I thought for sure my everything just went black. I couldn't see, and I was like, what in the devil's going on? So they take me to the hospital at the university. I have an eye specialist there after the game, and he's prodding around, and he's freezes my eye, and he's playing around, and he's going, oh. I said, what's all the oohs and ahs about? He says, I've never seen a scratch behind a human eyeball before. From a finger. Oh, wow. Behind my eyeball. So he was that far behind my eyeball. Wow. Yeah. So
did you get to know Dave Semenko after?
I did, yeah. So I was going to tell a story. There's a famous picture of Dave and I. We're just kind of standing beside each other, kind of glaring at each other. We're not fighting. We're just kind of like looking at each other. And they call it the Battle of Alberta. And this photo, it's the number one selling photo in most of Canada, if not all of Western Canada. More photos sold of Dave and I in that picture than Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, anything else. And the guy that owns the negatives, the photo is a guy in Edmonton called Jack Cookson. He owns Pro-Am Sports, and they sell it. And so for a long time, Dave and I would sign them. So he'd bring down a big stack of all different sizes to Calgary, and I'd sign them. He'd take them back up, and Dave would sign them. So we never really worked together. I ran into Dave here and there, but we always had a laugh. So he asked me to come to Edmonton one time to do a signing with Dave. We can, the fans were going to be there, and we could personalize them and different things. And I said, sure, great, I'll come up. And, so we're sitting there, and a kind of a lull in the conversation and in the lineup. And I said, hey, Dave, who would ever have thought you and I were going to be business partners?
No.
True. But he's a guy not unlike Nick. Everybody loved him. Yeah. All those guys just worshipped him. What a great guy, great in the community, fans. And, it's just a shame that, he passed away so young. But,
it is amazing with most of the tough guys what great guys they are, too. Like I got to know Clark Gillies and Bob Nystrom after, just fantastic guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, Tom, I think that'd be said about 98% of the hockey players. Most times, we're all in the same thing. We just all wanted to get along and make a living, have some fun. And even when we're in the alumni business now and just out, having fun, we do this, it's called the Battle of Alberta Golf Tournament. We do it in Red Deer, and it's for a Child Advocacy Center in Red Deer, the building, and Sheldon Kennedy and their group. And they get about 20 Oiler guys come down and 20 Flame guys, and I'll get all auctioned off. And an Oiler in a group, Flame in a group, two groups on a tee-off box, and you kind of challenge, you play, right? And
that's cool.
Oh, that is cool.
It's fun, it's great.
Yeah, so for people that don't know Alberta, so Edmonton is about 3 hours north of Calgary, right? 3 hour drive?
Yeah, 180 miles.
Yeah, the right in between there is Red Deer. Yeah, and that's a hockey hotbed, I'll tell you. The junior teams, the pro teams, they have world championship there. Yeah, world junior championships there and everything.
Yeah, Edmonton, you've got the three junior teams in Alberta, and then you got five, actually, because you got Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, and then you have the two NHL teams. And it's if you're a scout of any sort, you can watch a lot of hockey games and not go very far.
So how many seasons did you get as a player?
I played 16 years.
Wow.
And then I played 2 years in the minors.
Oh, you did?
And then, so right from playing in 97, I went from playing in San Jose and I got a job to coach with the Capitals. So it was 5 years in Washington and 6 years in San Jose. The 1 year we had the lockout, so we didn't work, but 6 seasons. 3 in Toronto and then 1 back to Washington.
Oh, but we should go back and talk about the Flames-Oilers rivalry, because it was kind of like your rivalry with the Islanders, Tom. They were the best team in the world, and you couldn't get through them. But Tim's Flames eventually got through the Oilers in 86 and then again in 89. And we should talk about 89 because that was obviously a magical year in Calgary.
Yeah, you beat us on the way. We beat Edmonton. That was the year we beat Edmonton.
You knocked out the Oilers.
We played Calgary and they beat us on the way to win the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, it's we did everything to beat the Oilers. We knew if we were going to ever win a Stanley Cup, we had to beat the Oilers. And it was it was Bob Johnson, the guy that really started all the little nuances of how to beat the Oilers. And they had such a great right side and a lot of scoring coming down the right side. Curry, Anderson, at times Messier coming off that right side on his off shot. So we developed this system called the left wing lock. And the left wing
started. Oh,
yeah. So you'd have 2 forecheckers, and then left wing guy would kind of be the high man. And then as the play started to come out of the zone, he would circle over and fill his lane. And then you had the 2D. So you had 3 guys abreast moving through the neutral zone. And sometimes, most often, you got the 2D skating backwards and the left winger skating forward. And, they would be retrieving pucks, and they'd be the guy low in our end when the puck got into our end low to start with. And then at some point, the centerman would switch off him, but a lot of times it was the left winger. And that really proved effective. We limited their rush opportunities, and then the other 2 guys had to get on the horse and get back because Paul Coffey was coming.
Again, yeah.
Kevin Lowe and Charlie Huddy and all these guys. So it really worked. And then we definitely had to get tougher as a team. And, and I think the thing that really helped us was all the college signings, Joel Otto, Colin Patterson, Jamie McCowan, Perry Bearzan early on. And so these guys really, they came in and they were pros. They're 22 years old. They've been in college, 21. They weren't 18, 19 like the rest of us. And they really helped us. And, it was, we had to scratch and claw to get by Edmonton. We did in 86 and got to the final and lost to Montreal.
Who also beat Tom's Rangers that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat us. Yeah.
And
you had my old teammate Bozak there too, didn't you?
Yeah,
you with him?
Bozak. Yeah, Bozak. Bozak was there in the early 80s. He was there and then we traded him to LA, I believe. And St. Louis and LA played. Yeah, both.
Keith Hansen was there too, wasn't he? He was an old teammate of mine.
Yeah, we had him there for a little while too. Yeah.
He just didn't want to fight as much as they wanted to, right? He's a big man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So Tim, you're a kid from Calgary. In 1989, you guys win the first cup. How was that as a Calgary native? Was it crazy?
It was, and the great thing was in those days, the Stanley Cup wasn't on tour. They didn't go, players didn't get it and go everywhere. Colin Patterson was the first guy to really get the cup to Toronto and go on and then have Phil Pritchard actually bring it to him. Otherwise, the cup stayed in the city.
Oh,
and yeah. So, living in Calgary full time, I had the cup numerous times. I had all kinds of different occasions with it. I had a big party with all my childhood friends and my coaches and my parents and brothers and everything in my backyard. But I went down to pick the Stanley Cup up, and it's my day. It's a Wednesday, and I get it Wednesday. I got to take it to the Stampede Grounds Saturday.
Ooh,
and then I get it back. Then I got to bring it back Monday. So I pick it up Wednesday. I'm going, and I had a regular cab Chev pickup truck. So nothing in the back, no canopy or anything, just a bench seat. I got the Stanley Cup. I go into the office and I said to the gal, where's the cup? She goes, it's right there. And I look and there's a hockey bag. And I'm like, it's in the hockey bag. Unzip the hockey bag. There's a Stanley Cup. So I take this out to my truck. I'm going, what am I going to do with this thing? Like, it's almost too big to lay on the bench seat. So I put it in the passenger seat. I put the seat belt around it, took the bag off, put the seat belt. I'm driving around town with a Stanley Cup.
Oh man,
And I pull up to a light and people are looking, they're going, hey, there's Tim Hunter. That's a Stanley Cup.
imagine that in a city like Calgary that's such hockey hotbed. Oh,
yeah. And I took it to a couple fire halls. I got buddies that are firefighters, and I took it to the hospital, and I took it to a couple friends' restaurants. You know, they have like pasta, Italian places they make pasta and that, like markets more than restaurants. And we had lots of fun, pasta and pictures and then
beers, a few beers,
beers, lots of beers.
There you go.
Phil, I think it's 13 beers, Phil.
Is that See, there's a trivia question right there. How many beers can you put in the top of the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, 13 cans of beer.
That's funny. Yeah.
So yeah, lots of fun, and so I had it numerous times, and Colin Patterson tells a story about he was in Toronto and there was something going on. He was somewhere, and he ran into one of the old security guys. Frank Torpy.
Oh yeah, Frank Torpy.
Frank Torpy.
Yeah, he had the bond and
party. Get out of the pod. He says, you know, anyway, I can get the Stanley Cup because Colin, we don't do that. The Oilers, they ruined it. They took it to some strip bar, and there's, you know, in that accent, he can't do that. You know, can. So Patter somehow enamored him, and he called the office because the cup was going back to Toronto, and Patter lives in Toronto. So they said, yeah, the guy's going to bring it out to your place. So he's got this party planned, and he's got the whole street blocked off, and this cup's supposed to be coming. He's got all his neighbors, childhood friends, and teachers, and all this there, and he's waiting for this cup to come. And this guy comes down the street and pulling up in this little Toyota, and he's like, hey, dude, we got a party going on. He goes, no, I got the cup. So he had the Stanley Cup, this little Toyota Tercel, and Phil Pritchard. So that's the first time the Stanley Cup ever went on tour. And then after that, it was just a matter of everyone doing it. Now, everyone in the whole organization gets it, like the front office, the trainers, everybody.
So everybody knows Phil Pritchard is the keeper of the cup. He's the guy with the white hair, right? The long white hair.
Yeah, there's
the white gloves.
There's, I believe, 3 of them that do it.
Yeah,
I was at a party for a friend that's the video coach for the Colorado Avalanche. I trained him as a video coach in San Jose, and then helped him get the job in Colorado. And Phil was there with another fellow. He's a new fellow that's just come on, and he worked at the Hall of Fame. And they asked him if he'd like to do the tour with the company. He's like, "Come on, yeah, I'd like to do that."
Yeah.
What better way to enjoy your summer than traveling around with the Stanley Cup to a bunch of parties?
So some stories we have guys that we had on
Grant Jennings.
Grant Jennings is on. He told a story about Mayor Lemieux's pool. Some of the stories of that trophy, what it's been through.
Yeah. We took the bottom off it and wrote on the inside and underneath. There's a wood bottom on it. Took the ring off, and there was lots of stuff inside.
Oh, people writing on it? Oh, I did not know that. That's a classic story.
Yeah.
Wow. Very good.
And then Tim almost won another one in New York 5 years later when Canucks and Rangers went to 7 games.
Yeah. I was really fortunate because I think every 4 or 5 years I was in the Stanley Cup 4 straight times. So 86 with the Flames, 89 with the Flames, 94 with the Canucks, and then 97 with the Capitals. So, yeah, we had that great team in Vancouver in 94. We, not unlike Florida, a good team, but we didn't win the President's Trophy the year before like they did. But we just kind of got in the playoffs. Pat Quinn made quite a few trades near the end of the year, and a couple acquisitions, Marty Jelena and Brian Glenn, and just kind of peaked at the right time and great goaltending with the Kirk McLean. But that was a tough team, Rangers with all those ex-Lowe on that. They were not happy playing against me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Kevin Lowe, I know Kevin pretty well, and we always get together and share stories. And he's like, Hans, it was like, really? I got to go through you again? You know.
So with all the fights that you've had and things that happened during your career, is there any one guy or a couple of guys that you still don't get along with?
Well, most guys you respect. Most guys, yeah, I don't. A couple of guys I fought Daniels and Mark Jansen in Vancouver, and I was standing with both those guys, and like somebody was coming after me, but I didn't realize. So I'm like, kind of hard. You're looking at the other guy. I look at one guy, and the other guy suckers me. And I look back, and then the other guy hit both of them. Well, I'll tell you what. That was like 99% of the time when I fought, I was in full control. I never really got mad or mean. I was just in control because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. When you get out of control, then all kinds of crazy things happen. But that moment for me was the eyes were rolling like a cash register. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I went totally berserk. But I slowly got my senses and went, okay. So in Vancouver, the visiting bench, when you come out of the locker room, you take a right and you go out onto the ice through the back of the bench. Well, when you're walking down that hallway on the left, there's a door. And that goes into the Canucks locker room, which is a separate room where the trainer is. That's where the medical room is, where there's a bed for dentists and stitches and different things. They do it in there. It's kind of a private room, but still attached to the Canuck locker room and the Canuck training room. So they're getting me, they're going to throw me out of the game. And I'm going, okay, great. And I'm making sure they're throwing those two clowns out. So I go down the tunnel, and then I cut left and go through the training room, and I go into that room. They're playing for Hartford. And now I open the door. Now I'm in their hallway, and I'm right across the hallway from their locker room door. Right. So I'm trying to call these two guys. Oh, they won't come out of the locker room. They're terrified. Because I don't care if there's two of them.
You lost your mind? Yeah.
I lost my mind. Yeah. But I was, in control. So they have the video of the camera going down the tunnel, and their Hartford TV has it on, and they never came out. The trainer came back and kind of got us separated,
so the two of them are sitting in the locker room going, I'm not going out.
No, they wouldn't come out. I said, you're cowards. And so they call me on the carpet, and Brian Burke is the disciplinarian, and he goes, Tuntz, he says, you can't do that. I go, do what? I said, did you watch what happened on the ice? I said, I get suckered by two guys, and I don't know where I took the wrong turn going in the dressing room, and I came out the wrong door. Now I'm in the hallway. I thought, well, I might as well have a conversation with him. He goes, what? He says, I got some good news for you. He says, that footage is not allowable. They played it, and their ass is grass because they played that footage. So, but it's not admissible.
Oh,
so I can't really suspend you on that. He said, but you got to be careful. I said, okay, Brian, no problem. I said, you're going to spend those guys for sucker punching me? He goes, Timmy, really? So that was a conversation I had with Brian Burke. So another guy, he was, Rob Ray, rubbed me wrong a few times, and I fought him lots of times. So we're playing Buffalo in Vancouver exhibition game, which I don't know. They must have come out west to do a tour or something to get out of town or something.
Yeah.
So late in the game, he's chirping Pavel Bure and chopping him, and then he goes to the bench, and I'm sitting. It's like no time left in the game. So Rob Ray wants, and this is in the old Pacific Coliseum now. Different, you go out the back of the bench, is wide open underneath. Big long walkway through the lower concourse to the visiting room, same to the Canuck room. So Pat Quinn's the coach, and I said to Rob Ray, I said, listen, pal, I said, we're not going to see you for like 5 months, and all of a sudden you're growing some balls, and you're gonna do this. Your last shift of the game with Pavel Bure. I said, where were you in the first period? I said, if you're not going to do this all game long, don't be doing it with 30 seconds. I said, that's called being a coward. So the referees come over and they throw us out, and I'm going, perfect. So he's chirping at me, calling me an old guy. Well, I went down the tunnel, so it's all open stands back there, and I went down, and now I'm in his pathway. He hasn't come out the tunnel yet. I'm standing in the tunnel, like it's all bright out there in the rink. And then when you go underneath, it's black. It kind of takes a minute to see. And I'm standing right in front of him as he comes out. He's trying to look underneath, but I'm standing right there. And I go, hi there. Damn. Like,
well, did you smoke him?
Yeah. So down we go. And now we're fighting. And we're out in the concourse. The Canucks have a big buffet there before the game.
Yeah.
Video screens and tables. And now we're rolling around on the concrete. And we're fighting. And I'm on top of him. And I'm pounding him. And this big hand comes over and reaches over. And Pat Quinn goes, boys, you can't do this. He said, you're going to get in trouble. I said, I don't care, Pat. I'm going to kill this guy.
That's funny.
So break it up and we go our separate ways, and nothing ever became of it. There was no video, and
that's funny.
So those are two, kind of like
different days, right? I mean, the game is still a great game now, but it's certainly a different game from way back then,
Well, yeah, and one referee, and then also the video, were you with the Kings and when Gretzky was there?
Yes,
or no?
Yes, it was. Yep. Yes, it was.
Was Tom Webster your coach?
Yes, he was. Yep.
So do you remember when I punched him?
Yes, I do. Didn't he throw a stick or something or he tried to spear somebody?
He was trying to get to Gilmore.
Yes. I remember that was in LA too. I remember.
Yeah. So that event, I'm in the hole there and right against your bench. And there's one sheet of plexiglass.
Yeah.
And there's no cameras. There's cameras across, and so he's trying to get to Gilmore. Like I'm going, and he's a coach. I'm like, what is this idiot doing? So he comes down. He's standing beside the bench, and I'm sitting right there in this sheet of plexiglass, and I'm going, Tom, beat it. Like you're not accountable for what you're doing. And I'm leaning around, yelling at him, and let your teammates, your players take care of this. And he gives me this one, like big, and I'm like, really?
That's the first time I've ever heard that. Yeah. So
I took my palms and my gloves because they're wet. I got that plexiglass and just went up in the stands.
Yeah.
And now everyone bunches in. All 10 guys on the ice are against the boards. Harry Gregson's the referee, and he's like 5'9", 5'10". He's behind everyone. And I'm face to face with Tom Webster. Yeah. And I just smoked, just grilled it. Glasses on everything. Down he goes in the bench. So I think him and Gilmore got 3 games, and I got 2 games.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that.
So, but no video of it all. The NHL had no video. But Terry Gregson said he saw me punch him, and I'm like, then you could have never saw it.
Yeah.
You're not tall enough to see it. Then I said that to Brian. I don't know whoever the guy was at the time was doing it. Anyways, Cliff Fletcher said, Hunts, he said, but you only got 2 games, and those 2 guys got 3.
There you go. Well, listen, it's been great having you on the show. We played against each other a lot, especially once I got to LA, and you're I mean, it's a total compliment to you. You always got the most out of your career. I hated playing against you. That was always a sign, that somebody was really competing every night, because you think to yourself, you look at the lineup, you go, man, I got to play against him tonight. It's just great job by you. Great career.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on the show. We'll get you on again sometime. Tell some of those stories.
You bet, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim.
Take care.
Have a great day.
Man, Tim Hunter told some incredible stories. Smoking Tom Webster and fighting in the tunnels, just great story.
He's one of those guys I played against all the time. And you think, oh my God, I got to play against him. I've never spoken to him before. That was the first time we did today. He's a great storyteller. Really good story.
Absolutely. We'll have him on again because we probably could have done 3 hours with those stories. But wow, what a career. And just to be, he knew from day one, he's going to be the 4th line guy. He's going to be reliable, dependable, and do his job. And made an 18-year career out of it.
It was interesting to talk about the other young kids that come down and play on the 4th line. And he'd almost be like a coach then before he became a coach ultimately after the game was over.
Yeah, 100%. Those are the guys you need on a team. Those leaders are basically, like you said, they're extra coaches.
You gotta listen to this one. There's some great stories. Oh, fantastic. He is rolling. So good job. That was a good show. All right, Grasshoppers. Thank you for listening. We had a fantastic show. We'll see you next time.